My colleague Nimisha is with us. Thanks very much for being with us, Nimisha. Priyank Sukhija, the CEO and MD of First City Restaurants, joins us as well. He owns several restaurants and has an idea of how the business runs in the National Capital Region. Atul Garg is Chief Fire Officer of the Delhi Fire Board. Thanks very much for being with us. Neelam Krishnamurthy needs absolutely no introduction. She's been with me on so many programs over so many years. She lost her children in the Upahar fire, and over a period of so many years, she's fought for justice, she's fought for right, she's fought for better rules, she's fought for implementation. She's been successful in many regards, and by her own admission has been unsuccessful because the system just doesn't change in so many cases. I'd like to thank all of you very much for being with us. Nimisha, you traveled to what, 10 or 12 restaurants in the Connaught Place region? What did you see in simple terms?
Well, Vishnu, I saw that these are restaurants which have no objection certificates. These are the restaurants that seat more than 50 people. They do have 2 exits, they have fire hoses, they have fire extinguishers. So they're not technically breaking any rules, but there are tables, there are broken staircases. I tried walking around them in a totally empty stairwell, and I couldn't walk down without looking at where my footfall was. The thing is that I was told that these obstructions are very temporary, but emergencies like media scrutiny do not come with warning. If that night was the night when something had happened, it is very difficult to believe that everybody in those restaurants could have gotten out safe.
Mr. Garg, how are these NOCs given if there are even temporary obstructions? Shouldn't that be illegal?
My NOC is for 3 years. Whenever we go for inspection, it is a predetermined date and time. So at that time, everything is clear. Now, once the owner gets NOC, he is free for 3 years. In between, there is no inspections. There is no surprise checks. So after giving NOC,
why are there no inspections?
See, there is no provision for inspection.
There is no provision for inspection.
Unless there is a fire call or there is a complaint, then we'll go for inspection and we'll check. In between, there is no provision for inspection.
But sir, shouldn't you proactively be investigating, carrying out these surveys?
See, if their law does not, how I can do it?
This is unbelievable, sir. The law doesn't say that you as a fire authority need to make these inspections happen.
See, we are doing inspections. After inspection only NOC is given, but my NOC is valid for 3 years.
After the NOC is given,
yes,
sir, I'm asking about inspections.
Yeah, right.
Is it because there is a manpower shortage?
No, not manpower. There is no provision in law to go inspection. See, for surprise inspection. Now after this Bombay fire, after the instruction from the higher authority, we have started inspection, and you must have read it, 3 restaurants have been sealed. Yesterday, 3 restaurants has been sealed over our recommendation.
But you had to wait for the Bombay incident before you started doing this.
See, we got the instruction. We took the approval from because there was no provision in the law earlier. So we had taken the permission from the government and we have started it.
Neelam Krishnamurthy, does that answer come to you as being shocking? The fact that fire authorities are being proactive only after the Kamla Mills fire took place, as Mr. Garg points out, that there is no provision in the law for him to proactively take these steps. I believe the first fire safety laws in India were introduced in 1983. By then, most of India had been built. Most of our urban centers had been built. And yet, the laws which exist now seem to be absolutely primitive. Why aren't fire safety officials empowered to go whenever they want, wherever they want, and check on safety standards?
Well, that's something I think the legislatures must do now. There should be a provision for the surprise inspections. As far as I think there is a provision for a surprise inspection, because one thing I can tell you that these fire officials, the fire doesn't give you a warning that it's going to start at so time, but the fire officials definitely warn the owners that we are coming for the inspection and please have your house in order. So obviously they make all the provisions, they provide for the things, and after that for the next 3 years they do not maintain them. Then what is the point of having such an inspection? Vishnu, I like to just compare fire safety, maintaining fire safety to having an army. We maintain an army, although we do not have a war every day. Similarly, the fire safety provision should be there. We don't have a fire every day, but it can start any time. So we need to be prepared with that. But unfortunately in India, we do not care for fire safety. Fire safety culture is zero. And these fire officials are very much in nexus with the owners. As I've said before, they are well informed before, and the NOCs are there for a price. there is a unholy nexus between the owners, the MCD and the fire officials. Why is it that each time they only wake up if there is a fire incident, they will inspect the premises for maybe 2 to 3 months and they'll all forget about it, and all the restaurants will open once again?
Mr. Garg, would you like to answer?
It's a
the allegation is very serious that money is paid, NOCs are given, or people are told when there are warnings. I'll just come to you next. Yeah.
See, this is not true. We are going for inspection unless, see, your reporters say everything is there. They are not maintained. See, there were temporary blocks. So who is responsibility? Is it responsibility of the owner?
Yeah, of course it is. But I'm asking you because you need to enforce. When owners fail, we rely on authorities like you.
Right. We are enforcing. That's why I'm saying everything is available, but it is not being maintained. See, there is a hall, there is a system, there is this way, but they have been temporarily blocked. So, I cannot put a person each and every restaurant every
Correct.
day.
So, it's a manpower issue.
Not manpower. See, how do you? There are 5,000 restaurants.
Yes.
Do you think every day we will?
You can't do it.
We can't do it.
Why are restaurant owners not scared of you?
As per law.
Why are restaurant owners not scared of you? Or the fact that you can suddenly land up and do something?
No, because there is
you don't go.
Because there is 3 years time.
And the 3 years time they can do whatever they want.
See, I have given NOC. They have to maintain, as per law, they have to maintain, they have to submit a declaration.
But they don't do it now. So you saw that report.
They are not doing it.
This was in only 10 or 11 places, all with NOCs. They don't do it. And so if they don't do it, the police has to chase. You're not police, you're the fire department. Shouldn't you be doing that?
We will be doing it. That's why I'm saying it. We have started it.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, that you finally started it. We feel a lot safer. That we wish that you started this a long time back. Right. So all this time we weren't perhaps safe. Priyank, you saw that report. One of the main points Nimisha brought out was that there are fire exits, but there are temporary obstructions. There are routes, but these are blocked. Even if you exit, there are areas where people, if there's a stampede, a large movement of people, they cannot disperse easily. So then, how are people safe?
First of all, I'll like to answer something which was earlier raised, that there is a nexus between fire and restaurateurs going on. 400 restaurants out of 5,000 restaurants only have fire NOCs. Rest 4,600 have not been able to get that. That proves that it's no nexus. It is really very difficult in today's time to get a fire NOC considering today's laws.
So then the other restaurants are operating without NOC?
Yes, they are 4,600 restaurants, only 400 out of those 5,000.
In the NCR or in Delhi?
In Delhi. They've been protected by another law that if you are under 50, you do not need, under 50 covers, you do not need a fire NOC.
Under 50, sorry, could you specify?
It's
under 50 seats?
Seater, you don't need a fire NOC. Now in the report, I mean, I'm really sorry, Nimisha, but when I'm seeing there was one of my restaurants, Lord of the Rings featured there in that report, which actually has 2 exits, but it was told in a report that there is only 1 exit, and they took it on the rooftop and said this is our fire exit. This was for a fire exit for a rooftop, which is a 3rd exit which we have kept in case of emergency, but we have 2 legal fire exits downstairs and which are clean.
What did you see in that report?
There was
in that restaurant, yes?
There are 3 exits, and I never claimed that there were not enough exits. Like I told you, there are enough exits to meet the NOC, but the question is, if there's a fire and somebody's escaping out onto the roof, I agree with you. I saw the exit going down, it is there, but where it says fire exit, it should be a fire exit that the fire department approves of. I went up on that exit, say there was a fire and I was a guest and I go up on that exit. My only way off that roof was that ladder which I climbed. Your manager held it for me because I couldn't climb it without somebody holding it. If there was a fire and 120 people were running up the stairs, I'm afraid I would not be able to make it. And then on top of that staircase, there was no way off. So I would be trapped on that roof. That is my concern.
No, we have 2 legal fire exits.
No, but your legal fire...
We have 2 legal fire. Both of them are marked fire exit. They are marked fire exits.
But her point is it doesn't work. I'm sure you have the paperwork. I don't doubt that for a moment.
We do not have a rooftop sitting. There is no sitting on the rooftop.
But why don't you answer her question directly?
I would just suggest you do not mark that as a fire exit. If that was not a fire exit, you're perfectly NOC compliant.
I would really like you to check your report again. I am very sure where the staircase is not marked as a fire exit.
The way up is marked as a fire exit.
I would really, I mean, we'll get back on this later after this, but I'm very sure it's not marked as a fire exit.
I was there last
night.
She was there last night, we've got the footage.
Second of all, moving on, even at Townhouse Cafe, where we were moving, I could see the manager actually, taking her through the fire exit, and it was said in a report that furniture was...
Her point is it was obstructed, right?
There was furniture on both sides of the exits.
And
again,
how much area was there between the both exits to actually go through it?
If you have 100 people trying to leave, is that enough?
We must be having at least 1.5 meter clear exit to that fire exit.
Is that enough? Is that enough?
As per fire department, you need
so you can block a fire exit with furniture or whatever it is?
No, there was no fire exit blocked. The fire exit was not blocked.
The exit route was blocked.
That's the exit route was not blocked. There was furniture kept on left and right side with the 1.5 meters.
But should that be done if people are
there
trying to
exit? There was a clear exit route for 1.5 meters.
Town House told me that that furniture is not there as usual. They keep that clear. They acknowledged that they're supposed to keep that clear, and I took this footage to the fire department, sir, and I told them through all my footage, and I was told that's a violation, that's a violation.
See, I am not going to support any restaurant which flouts a law.
Well, there you seem to be supporting
No, I'm not supporting a restaurant which supports
she has diligently produced this report, has gone to the fire safety officials who have said in this particular case that you are talking about, there have been violations.
See, I'll tell you what. We've had fire, since the Kamla Mill fire. A lot of restaurants in CP and all across Delhi have had numerous checks. They have sealed 3 restaurants actually, which are flouting laws. Yesterday, 3 restaurants got sealed. And most of if that was the case, many more restaurants would have been sealed.
Well, they obviously can't do it. In all this time, they've done nothing.
No, but in the last 10 days, I'm talking about the last 10 days or 15 days since the time the Kamla Mill fire happened.
We feel so much safer now that this is taking place. Now, wondering what's been happening for all these years. I want to go back to Neelam Krishnamurthy. Mrs. Krishnamurthy, when you hear this, you've seen our report. You would have heard the report. I'm not sure if you saw it. We have our reporter over here. She has filmed and observed certain instances where all of these restaurants have NOCs. However, exit routes, even if they exist, are either blocked or are difficult to access. Isn't that the central issue over here? That it's not necessarily that you have a route, it needs to be better than what it is presently.
You're absolutely right, Vishnu. In fact, the most important thing in any accident that happens is the means of escape which has to be available. If the Supreme Court has held, I don't know if any of them have read the judgment, even if the source of fire is not in your premises, but if you get smoke in your premises and you have not allowed the visitors to escape by blocking the exits, the onus will come on the owner. So the duty of care lies on the owner, irrespective of the fact whether the fire starts in your own restaurant or no. These people must read the Uphaar judgment. This is what the Supreme Court has held, and it's very unfortunate that people are totally unaware of what's happening around. These people are only interested to increase their profits. Why can't they provide an exit? I don't understand. Why do they need to block it by keeping extra tables? Maybe they lay an extra table for earning more money, or most of the time you'll find the exits routes or the exits are used as a storeroom rather than letting it be open. If you go to any foreign country, you will find the emergency exits, the staircase goes, and they're absolutely free from any obstacle. So in case of emergency, they can just run down. I saw, just before this, I saw the report in the 9 o'clock news.
Yes, it's the same report.
The stairs, they were broken, and another I saw that they put a temporary ladder there. How do they expect people at the time of crisis to go up that ladder? I mean, it's unimaginable. And if you've gone to a rooftop, then it must be adjoining to the next rooftop. So from there, from the next building, people can actually get down and they can escape. What is the point of letting the people go onto the terrace and don't have an escape route from there? It should be adjoining the next terrace. I mean, these people are just providing these just to get the NOCs, I'm sorry. And the gentleman said that there is no nexus. Everybody knows there is a nexus between the government officials and them. And in fact, there are instances when fire officials are on casual leave and they issue NOCs. So if this is not for a price, what else is? We
Priyank,
need to inculcate a safety culture
totally.
in our country.
1 second, Mrs. Krishnamurthy. Priyank wants to respond to that.
As I said earlier, if there was a nexus, why 4,600 out of 5,000 restaurants
that
do not
doesn't mean that the restaurants that actually exist, her allegation is clear that those that have NOCs got it through unfair means, some of them.
See, no, and no NOCs are given through unfair means, but yes, I am not denying the possibility of some restaurants, once they get a license, then they get careless about it and block exits. If that is done and regular checks are done, their licenses should be cancelled. I am not favoring any restaurant here which is flouting the laws. But yes, if she is saying that the restaurants have been given NOCs, I mean, all the NOCs.
Did you have a restaurant with a rooftop cafe or a rooftop or seating?
Yes.
Was that legal?
the rooftop seating has not been there for a very long time.
Right.
Has not been there for a very long time. We do not have an outdoor sitting anytime in CP.
But
yes.
isn't that a problem?
So earlier it was always so actually if you see.
So you did have rooftop seating.
I did have
past.
rooftop seating many years ago.
Was that legal?
It was so. There was no clarity of law. It's a very grey area.
Mr. Garg, is that true? That it's a grey area, rooftop seating?
Yes.
It's a grey area.
Because
is it allowed
the
or not
NDMC has
allowed?
to decide. No, right now it is not allowed.
So aren't you sealing restaurants right now with rooftop
the ceiling
seating?
is with the NDMC.
Right. No, whichever. NDMC, Delhi government, this, that, people want safety.
Right.
It is being sealed now.
Yes.
It is being sealed. It is being sealed on the basis of an interpretation of the law that says that the rooftops have to be kept cleared so that fire officials can work.
Yes.
Right.
It has
so
been sealed
all this
on
time, it has taken all this time for people to realize that perhaps having rooftop restaurants is illegal. It's taken fires for people. It's unbelievable. You've suddenly woken up and realized that it's illegal.
No, this is not correct. This is not
just
correct.
half a sec, Priyank.
This is not the correct. I am saying my job is to see fire and safety. Fire safety should be available everywhere where the people are sitting, where the assembly of the people are there. See whether it is a rooftop, whether it is a first floor, second floor, and we are going to check fire safety arrangement escape route. Or if escape route is clear, it will be closed down. It has to be suspended.
Nimisha, from your understanding, what is the issue? What is the concern that exists with rooftop seating? Is it legal or is it not? What are some of the interpretations of this that you have come across?
Well, right now, Vishnu, everybody's rooftops are clear of seating because of the ceiling drives. All the restaurants, apart from these 10, I've been to at least 25 others for other stories. All the restaurants do not have seating on their roofs right now because of ceilings. But in the past, there have definitely been rooftop seatings because, according to the restaurants, it wasn't really a clear law against it. The problem also becomes that there might not be laws that address the problems. For example, the fire service laws do not require stairs to be maintained. So that allows restaurants to get away with having poorly maintained stairs. That allows restaurants to get away with having small obstructions, because when I've followed a fire officer during a check as well. I walked around with him. He saw a big planter and he said, that shouldn't be there, remove it. But that license is not going to get revoked because of that obstruction, though if there's an emergency, that will constrict people from getting out. So the rules also do not prevent these things from happening.
I would like to comment on this.
Last point, sir, because I'm out of time. Yes.
Right. See, escape route has to be clear. If there is an obstruction, restaurant license can be suspended.
Well, is enough of that happening? Mr. Garg, I'll be very honest. I found it personally to be quite shocking when you said that there is no provision for you to check proactively on restaurants after an NOC has been given on surprise visits.
Right.
One feels very unsafe given what we see in the city. No one really seems to care. Mrs. Krishnamurthy over there has lost both her children to a fire so many years back in Upahad, when there was absolutely no regard for fire safety. She has gone to court day in and day out. She has finally got a semblance of justice. She believes more justice should have happened. This was a case that shook up all of India. And today in 2018, we are still discussing whether there should be a piece of furniture blocking an exit or the amount of space that actually exists. Whether having a ladder is actually good enough for people to exit or not. And apparently you can't do anything proactively. So where does that leave us as citizens? I'd like to thank all of you for coming on this program, sharing your views. Nimisha, thank you very much for being with us as well. We're completely out of time. Goodbye.